Let me tell you a story about my friend. He grew up a very normal boy, went to school, and scored very good grades. You know, those grades that the teacher gets back to you, with the paper folded down, so that the rest of the peers in the class can see and you're embarrassed. After school, he managed to take over the family business. He was very successful while at it, drove an amazing, beautiful car, built an amazing, beautiful home for himself. And how we ended up connecting is because we both loved fashion. We both loved suiting up. We spend so many hours in restaurants speaking about how fashion has constantly evolved. Let me tell you something else about my friend. He hates Christmas. Every single time the lights go up in the mall and the Christmas carols fill up the air, he picks up his call and he tells me, "Man, it's that time again." He dreads taking that same trip back home because that trip comes with those same very questions that frustrate him and make him sad. Where is she, they ask. We're growing old, we want grandchildren. We're so happy you have become successful, but now we want children. These questions that started as a gentle nudge kept on becoming less gentler over time, and I have seen my friend turn to the bottle every single day. My name is Njeri Makena. I am happiness, I am free, and I am bold. For a very long time, I could never introduce myself like this. But somewhere along the journey, I started to discover what it meant to live your truth. I started to discover who I really was. And I decided to be loyal to my own authenticity. By doing this, it freed me from my own misery, and I consciously made an effort to constantly be happy. I believe happiness is the only and the true natural form of all human beings and animals combined. Think about it. Every single thing that you do is in constant search of happiness. You go to school so that you can get good grades, so that you can go get a job, get some money, buy yourself some good clothes, help your parents. All these things make you happy. So it's no coincidence that as we are searching for our own happiness, we are actually going down the same route of self-discovery. For the last decade, I struggled to live a normal life. Normal here meaning conforming to the different societal norms that have been placed on us from a very young age. From a very young age, we were taught that suits are for boys and dresses are for girls. That small little dolls are toys for girls and cars are toys for boys. This continued to even when we were adults, when we were choosing our career paths, and we were constantly reminded that a mechanic's job is a man's job and a hairstylist's job is a woman's job. These same very norms even dictate who we should love. As a man, you're only expected to be with a woman. And as a woman, the only partner that you should bring home is a man. Coming to the city when I was 19 years old, my goal in life was to thrive and to survive no matter what. I wanted to act. I wanted to be a big superstar, feature in very many different TV shows and in big movie series. But I knew for a fact that the battles that I had been going through as a teenager will now be tested in this big city. But I was not going to back down. As I acted in very many different stages in the city, I realized that what society wanted me to accept as normal wasn't the case for humanity and was definitely not the case for me. I came across a quote at that particular point that constantly encouraged me. A quote by Ellen DeGeneres. The truth is that we are all one connected thing from the exact same molecules, but our vibrations are different. How we express ourselves in life can be completely different from anyone else. I continued acting in very many different platforms in different counties in my country. and the constant theme that stood out every single time is that the African culture glorifies and promotes heteronormativity. Heteronormativity means denoting or relating to a worldview that promotes heterosexuality, I beg your pardon, as the normal or preferred sexual orientation. Allow me to introduce another term here, gender binary. This is the classification of gender into two and opposite distinct forms, masculine and feminine. All this determined whether by social system or cultural belief. However, this is not the case and is not accurate for every single person and every single child born across the world. I believe that gender identity is one's own internal experience and perception of self. And you know what? It is actually separate from one's sex. The journey towards expressing my own identity wasn't easy. I had it rough for very many years, where small decisions like what to wear to a wedding as an adult was something that constantly frustrated me. Because I wanted to wear a shirt, pants, coats, because that's what I was comfortable doing. But yet society insisted that as a woman, I should attend these different events in a dress. Small decisions like this, which might not mean much to anyone across the world, are some of the challenges that I had to overcome. Those were my fears. And in that particular moment, I chose to put back my fear and choose to be bold in making small decisions like this. I started rocking what I was comfortable rocking to different events because that's who I am and that is my truth. I remember for the first time in my life, after very many years, looking at myself in the mirror, and I say to myself, I am gay, I am unique, and this is my truth. Every single time I say this to my friends, I tell them I felt a weight was lifted off my chest. I was finally free, I was whole, and for the first time in my life, I was in sync with my being. This was a victory for me. But what I didn't know was that this was just but the beginning of my journey to boldness. The first place where I encountered the choice to be bold is in my workspace. Being an actor, I got to a point where I had to turn down scripts which did not work for my gender identity. Being a producer in the film and the TV industry, I was constantly ridiculed for picking up jobs that were supposed to be men producing jobs, but yet as a woman, I wanted to do them. Growing up in a Christian home and being a believer, when I came to the city, I had to look for a church. And every single Sunday, I walked into that church, where I believe the universal language should be love, because also we are taught that love your neighbor as you love yourself. But the church was the very one place where I received hate, gossip, stares. Such a painful experience for me that I had to retreat to worshiping my God the best way I knew, in solitude, and that still works for me to date. I remember that cold morning of July 2018, when I woke up and I looked at my phone, and I had over 1,000 messages and over 500 missed calls. My blood went cold. I knew something was wrong. What I did not know is that I had become a trending topic overnight. And with every single tweet, every single comment of hate towards me, I was reminded how our society promotes and glorifies gender roles and gender identity without thinking about the other person on the receiving end, who they identify as, and who they have chosen to be. What is their truth? This whole experience was so painful for me that for 3 months, I was constantly down and had bouts of depression. But once again, I reminded myself that I had to choose to be bold. This whole experience made some of my family members and friends become strangers. I received comments from friends like, "We were okay with you being gay, but now that you're so outspoken about it, we don't know what other people are going to think when they see us hanging out with you. I wish you were not that outspoken, we will still be friends." Some different family members chose the path of hate as well. But at that particular point, I knew I had to find my tribe, and I did. My 2 lovely and amazing friends who have held me down to date, loving me for who I am and for the person that I have become. All these different experiences that I have gone through in my workplaces, church, social media, only emboldened me more and made me choose to live a happy life, truth, bold, and unapologetic. When the shift happened for me, I was done letting my authentic self take a backseat, and I took power back to my hands. I started speaking boldly about the harassment of gay people in my own country, where we boast of democracy, such a fast-paced nation, but still hold on to archaic laws that threaten the lives of gay people. I started speaking boldly about companies where if you are openly gay, you are fired instantly, yet their vision and mission statements say equal for all. I started speaking boldly about cyberbullying of the gay people because of who they are and who they choose to love. Yet politicians, priests, religious leaders, media personalities are not put to task for crimes of hate like murder and rape. I knew that the freedom that I felt is what I needed every single person in the gay community in Kenya and in Africa at large wanted to feel. I needed to give them the same freedom. That's why I started my own organization, Bold Network Africa, an organization that uses storytelling to be able to inspire and tell stories of different people in the queer community who have chosen to be bold for our generation and for the generations to come. Our vision is for one day to have a free Africa where every single person feels loved and protected by society and even the laws that govern them. Looking back at my own journey of self-acceptance, it takes me back to my teenage years, where the decision to either wear Savco jeans over a dress or to play cops and robbers with the boys of a pretend house with the girls was the beginning of me yearning to be accepted and to be loved for who I was. When I think about that time, I think about my friend. My amazing friend who was found hanging from the roof of his house, a 50-year-old gentleman, with a suicide note for his parents. The problem lied in the same very questions that they asked him. The questions were wrong. And why I say the questions were wrong is because they constantly asked him, "Where is she?" What if they took time to understand their son and asked him, "Where is he?" Maybe my friend will still be alive. I think about the many different people in the gay community who have contemplated suicide and have had to go through so much mental anguish. And I ask myself, and I ask you today, what if we changed how we raised our children? What if we taught them to love and value themselves for who they are and live their truth? And what if we made a promise to them that no matter who they are, we will love them wholly? For the politicians, religious leaders, mothers, fathers, Brothers and sisters, ask yourself today, would you rather have a barely functional child who is going through so much mental anguish because of the different norms that you have dictated for them? Or would you rather have a successful child, whole, happy, and is loved for who they are? Today, I leave you with these two different statements that constantly encourage me and have gotten me here. Freedom lies in being bold, and choose love over hate, because love always wins. Thank you.